Confidence is the present tense of hope. The difficulty is the path, not the other way around. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. The most common form of despair is not being who you are. The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have. Knowledge is a wealth that cannot be stolen. To dare to lose one's footing momentarily is not to dare as to lose oneself. The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule begins. It is better to try something and fail than to try nothing and succeed. We always grow more through defeats than victories. Boredom is the root of all evil, that despairing refusal to be oneself. It is impossible to exist without passion. For without risk, there is no faith, and the greater the risk, the greater the faith. Man always hopes for what he should remember and forever remembers what he should hope for. Leap of faith, yes, but only after reflection. The thing that cowardice fears most is decision. The unhappy person is never present to themselves because they always live in the past or the future. Wherever there is a crowd, there is untruth. Why bother remembering a past that cannot be made into a present? The function of prayer is not to influence God but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. Therefore, do not deceive yourself of all deceivers, fear most yourself. The more people to believe something, the more apt it is to be wrong. If you want to be loathsome to God, just run with the herd. Only the noble of heart are called to difficulty. The only intelligent tactical response to life's horror is to laugh defiantly at it. Life has its own hidden forces which you can only discover by living. Truth always rests with the minority, and the minority is always stronger than the majority. Far from being the root of all evil, idleness is rather the only true good. People settle for a level of despair they can tolerate and call it happiness. To be a woman is something so strange, confusing, and complicated that only a woman could put up with it. Sleeping is the height of genius. Our life is a game of whose rules we don't know. It is not what happens to me that makes me great, but it is what I do. Faith is the highest passion in man. You become what you understand. Life has become a bitter drink to me, and yet it must be taken.